today I'm going to show you how to make Japanese milk pudding. It's really easy to put together. There's just 4 ingredients, and as always I've written a blog post which I'll leave down below, which has the recipe and step-by-step instructions and loads of ideas for adaptations too, so click through for that. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, comment too, let me know if you give this recipe a try and any other puddings you'd like me to share with you. Now, I have been reminiscing a lot about my trip to Japan. It was 3 years ago around this time, cherry blossom time, and there were all kinds of lovely puddings I had while I was there, and a bit of googling found me on a recipe for Japanese milk pudding. I've pretty much kept it similar-ish to that recipe, just adapted it a bit to my own taste and dietary requirements, and I'll leave the original recipe in the link down below as well, so you can have a look at that and cook it however you like. But the ingredients that I'm using almond milk because that is the milk that agrees with me. I'm good with all kinds of dairy except for milk, so I've got almond milk. I'm using cream. I'm kind of changing the ratios around a bit just because almond milk has not as rich and creamy a flavor. So the original recipe did have 2 cups of milk, but I'm going to do 1.5 cups of milk and 1/2 cup of cream, so it's got that lovely creamy flavor and texture to it. I'm using stevia as my sweetener of choice, but you could use sugar or any sweetener you like. And I've got this gelatin over here which I'll be using. If you want it to be vegetarian, just use a vegetarian gelatin instead. So let's put it all together now. So I've got my saucepan out. I'm just going to use a 1/2 cup measure that I just keep refilling. So I'm going to go for 1.5 cups of my almond milk. You could use your milk of choice, as I said. Oh, getting over eager and pouring. There we go. That's 1/2 cup. So I need 3 of these. That's 1 whole cup. And now we have 1.5 cups of almond milk. I'm going to go for 1/2 cup of cream, and it's up to you how sweet you want it. The original recipe was 3 tablespoons of sugar. I'd say go 2 to 4 tablespoons of stevia sugar, just depends how sweet you want it. That's my second, and I'll just do a shallow 1/3 tablespoon, get it mixing. Now you can also add some vanilla if you want to in, just for that almost custardy type of flavour, but I'm just keeping mine nice and pure. Now the original recipe is 2.5 teaspoons of gelatin. I've got my little pouch here. I'm just going to use the whole pouch, which is roughly 2.5 teaspoons anyway. Yeah, pretty much. So I'll just get the whole little pouch sachet of gelatin. So yeah, 2.5 teaspoons of gelatin. I'm actually going to switch to my whisk over here and just whisk the gelatin in. And now I'm going to pop it over medium heat on the stove top, and we'll heat it up slowly. So I've got the milk pudding over medium heat on the stove top, and just keep whisking it, keep a close eye. We want to heat it through so that the gelatin dissolves and just gets everything nice and warmed through together. So we're just going to heat it until it's almost bubbling point and then take it off the heat. You can see that the gelatin has completely just about dissolved into my milky mixture. I'm just going to keep whisking it until it comes almost to simmer, and it sounds simmery. There's just water on the bottom of my pan and it just makes a lot of noise. So it's almost there, almost at the simmering point, and then we'll remove it from the heat. Okay, I'm happy with that. It's kind of at the steaming but not quite bubbling point, so we'll take it off the heat and then we'll allow it to cool down, and once it's cooled to kind of room temperature, we can pour it out into serving dishes. So I've taken it off the heat. I'm kind of keeping the whisk in, and I'll check on it from time to time, just letting it cool down and just whisk it so it doesn't get all lumpy while it's cooling down. And once it's cool, I'll show you as I pour it into the serving dishes. The milk pudding has cooled to room temperature. It's nice and still quite smooth and creamy. So I'm going to move it into containers or into dishes. I've got a glass and I've got a pretty serving dish bowl over there as well. And I'm just going to pour the pudding in carefully. Let me just move it around a bit. I'm just going to pour it in. That's one dish. I just kind of wanted to put it in a few different serving vessels, and I'm going to pop the rest into this glass over here. Just so there's a few different options, and now I'm just going to pop them both into the fridge to cool completely, and I'll show it to you then. So my Japanese milk pudding has set beautifully. You can see it's thickened up. I've popped some raspberries on top of one of the portions, and I thought we'd take a look at the other portion too. You can see it's thickened up almost like a panna cotta. Oh, that is just what I wanted. I had so many jiggly puddings like this when I was in Japan. It just reminds me so much of that, and I'm just going to have a little taste test of it too, let you know how it tastes. Definitely brings back so many memories. That texture, that lovely thick pudding is just absolutely beautiful. It makes such a lovely dessert, a lovely sweet treat. You could definitely add some vanilla, other flavorings too, which I'll leave in the link in the blog post down below. But that is the video for today for this lovely jiggly Japanese pudding. As you can see, it's beautiful and just so wonderful. I've rarely made a mess of it, but so good. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, comment too, let me know if you give this pudding a try and what you think of it. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.